What's up, guys? Vinny Plays back at it again with another awesome video. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Ironheart, the end of Phase 5 of the MCU. Now, I'll just say this very clear and now. A lot of people, including me, did not have high hopes for this show. We set our expectations extremely low for the show, and in the end, it paid off. Because this show was bad. Because with our low expectations, we expected what was to be expected. Our expectations were met. Just like the last MCU show of Phase 4, because this is the last show of MCU show of Phase 5, they're both the worst shows in their respective phase. And after Thunderbolts, this was so disappointing. Look at the episode titles. Take Me Home. Okay, that's not that bad. Will a real Natalie please stand up? What the hell? We in Danger Girl. Oh my god. Bad Magic. Oh god. Karma's Glitch. Karma's a glitch, and the past is the past. Okay, even these episode titles suck. I don't even know how that's possible. Let's just go over the main issue with the show. Riri Williams is just I don't even think she has a character arc. And if she does, it's barely noticeable. She is so annoying. And while there are some moments where consequences are brought up, it's not enough. Like, in a way, they feel minor. And honestly, I think there's a lot of better choices for like a spin-off MCU Iron Man like show. I mean, like, take Rhodey, War Machine. It could have dealt with like the aftermath of him being replaced by a Skrull for like years, for literal years, or maybe even like Ezekiel Stain. Maybe I feel like that could be interesting of like him, like moving on from his father's, moving on from what his father is, and over the course of the show, proving to be a hero. Like, it could have dealt with it. Honestly, I think it would be like Ezekiel, like staying, like dealing with the backlash from what his father did, and then over the course of the show, moving on from the past and becoming the complete opposite of what his father is, a hero. I feel like that could have been interesting. Hell, I would have even even though Parker Robbins isn't exactly the best, isn't exactly a more complex villain, I would still take the Hood over Riri Williams. And it's just that it feels like the show just like, what? Okay, is this show better than She-Hulk? I would think so, because it has more of a concise plot compared to She-Hulk, where it was just kind of like random events strung together. But the the plot in this movie keeps going forward instead of jumping all around. But it's just barely it. The plot is an okay concept, I guess, but it's just not handled in the proper way. And and it was I feel like, and it just ended in such an unsatisfying way with just her literally bringing her dead best friend back now, dead best friend Natalie back from the dead. So and he returned being like possessed by the cloak, being influenced by a cloak, which we see to Parker like harms his body. Don't know why. It just, I don't know. That's not exactly what I would consider a good ending for the series. The best part about the show to me was like Ezekiel Stain. I don't know if he's really a liked character in the show, but I personally liked him. I thought the show would have honestly been better if he was the main protagonist, or even Rhodey. It's just that there's nothing about this show that really captivated me. I I, I kept I did keep watching, but at that but at near but basically every episode I just wanted it to end. And honestly, there I just wished every episode would be over like 20 minutes. And I don't know, and the fact we get like the fact that we get like the most information out of Parker in the last episode, just like act all along, just kind of disappointed me. Because I'd rather like discuss Parker's backstory, but in like the earlier episodes, so that we didn't have to deal with it in the future episodes. But essentially, the plot is just that Hero basically doesn't feel is like shaken up after an incredibly traumatizing event. Does something to make sure, like does something to cope for that, I guess. Yes, and eventually through her responsibility joins a crime faction and gets one of the leader's loved ones killed. And so they hunt them down, and then she beats them. It's just that I understand the plot events happening, but they're not executed that well. There's just nothing. It's just that there was no real. I, I mean, Parker and the relationship with his loved one was was convincing, I guess. But that's the main thing. It just feels like the side characters like Parker and Ezekiel, and characters that are on the show like Rhodey have more potential for a more exciting story to tell than Riri Williams. And it's just that, like, honestly, besides Ezekiel, Parker, and Parker's loved one, the rest of the characters are annoying. Riri is just feels like it's just such selfish. It's just such a brat that I just wanted her to lose. Natalie just feels like I don't know why anyone would want to be her friend, but well, I guess Riri is kind of the same personality as her, so yeah, yeah. The mom's just the mom. The mom also get pretty annoying. Those two magic people get are honestly just feel like nothing like filler. Natalie's brother was barely in the show, and he felt like nothing. He felt like a nothing character, a filler character. It feels like the characters we're supposed to care about just they in past in a show like this you need to care about the main characters, like the main character and their loved ones. You need to do something to make them care. You need to like show something in the show to make create a personal connection so you can like connect with them and relate to them, so you don't want them to die. And they didn't think to do any of that in this show. Why? It's actually a pretty. It's just that I don't. There's nothing. It feels like there was no real true character arc to Riri. And I know I already said that, but point out I don't know where her character arc began or where it ended. And it okay. And the main issue is that over a course of a show that's basically like 5 hours, if I can't detect a single cent of like character development, that's just that just makes a bad mark on the show. Especially since there's been like MCU movies that are like 2 hours and have perfect character arcs. It's just that Riri is just nothing. There's nothing about she does in the show that makes me care about her. It just feels like Parker's backstory just was waiting at the end, which I didn't like. The villain, the Hood, was a cool concept, but I feel like they didn't do enough with him. And what they did with him is at the last episodes. And I like the twist, and it was a pretty interesting twist that was having at the end. But everything about the show is just developed through exposition. Well, almost everything. Nobody feels like it just feels like there's nothing ruleable about Riri at all. That's my main complaints. In this, at the end of the day, if after if you thought after Thunderbolts we're gonna get no more bad part, if you thought about after Thunderbolts we're gonna get no more bad projects in the MCU ever again, and you definitely be wrong right now. Final score. Well, She-Hulk maybe a 0 out of 10. Ironheart, our final rating is a 0.5 out of 10. Another total epic failure. There were so many ways to make the show somewhat decent. He's in like 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 interesting set pieces. This set pieces, more backstory, more showing and not telling, with interesting, relatable motives to the characters. There's maybe some actual progressing character arcs. Maybe a proper some proper storylines. I don't know, better suited characters for main protagonists like Rhodey or Ezekiel or the Hood. This show has none of that. That it is tedious from start to end. That's the only thing the show ever was to me. It just felt like it was tacked on the last minute. But anyways, this has been Fiend Plays review of Ironheart. Get out of here.